We're gonna get into some dock fishing now. One of my favorite ways to catch bass. Depending on the lake you're fishing, between vegetation and water clarity, typically the clear lakes have a lot more grass in them. That's when I tend to lean more towards a Texas rig when I'm fishing docks. Pretty basic, I like flipping a tube. This is a 3/8 ounce Woo tungsten sinker, 4/0 VMC ring, heavy duty wide gap. And then the setup, this is a 7'3" medium heavy Daiwa Kage. I got a Tatula SV 8-to-1 on there. I really like the gear ratio for picking up. I'm covering a lot of water, making as many casts as I can, picking up a lot of slack. And when you do get a bite under these docks, a lot of times the fish will run out at you. So the faster gear ratio allows me to catch up with that fish, get a good hook set. And one thing you want to keep in mind when you are fishing boat docks, there is little patterns to them about the positioning of the dock you want to pay attention to when you start fishing them. A lot of times they'll be out on these ends, and if you're getting bit there, I'll kind of spend my focus on that. But there's definitely days where, a lot of your bites come on them first 1, 2, 3 pillars, posts coming off the shore, or the boat lifts. There's little kind of micro patterns to the docks, and once you get that dialed, you can really become more efficient and just key in on those, specific parts of the docks that you're getting bit off, I will say there's one thing that a lot of times this time of year, if you're fishing, whether it be a jig or a Texas rig, and you're throwing it in there, shaking it a couple times and not getting a bite, and then you go to reel it up, and that one was under the boat. So that might be where they are today, but hard to tell. That was our first bite. So now, if I get into dirtier water or maybe docks that don't have as much grass on them, that's when I really prefer a jig. And a jig really shines in the fall. If you could give me one bait to fish all fall, it would be a jig. It does go through the grass pretty good, but I typically skip a 1/2 ounce jig. That's probably my preferred dock fishing size. Skip's really nice, not too heavy, not too light. Little guy. Moved into some dirtier water here. Switched to a jig, not dealing with as much grass, a little bigger profile. And got a fish real quick. Not a big one, but a good sign. Setup for this is a 7-foot medium heavy Daiwa Tatula Elite Brent Antler edition, 30-pound Suffix 832 braid to a 20-pound Suffix Advanced Fluoro. 8-to-1 gear ratio reel, and that's my jig skipping setup. Another one on the jig. And still Feider. Nice little chunk, but that's basically my how-to on dock fishing. One of my favorite things to do. North Country, I think it really shines in the fall period. There's definitely a post-spawn and a summer bite, but that September, October period of the year, that's my absolute favorite time to fish boat docks. And just keep that in mind. It's basic fishing, Texas rig and a jig. Fish a Texas rig in the heavier grass, jig in the more off-color water docks. But kind of a real nice 1-2 punch, and really good way to catch some really nice fish this time of year.